To finish off this month-long trip in India, we headed back to New Delhi for 3 more days of exploration and relaxation at the Taj Palace. Just pulling into this world-famous hotel as the security guard comes to check our trunk, we knew we probably wouldn't want to leave, but we do leave, and we hope you'll join us as we explore New Delhi for the last time on this trip. Notably, we'll be taking you to the Rashtrapati Bhavan, or the President's House, and we'll be exploring the world-famous Lotus Temple. But for now, let's check out our super comfortable hotel room, why don't we? The luxurious Taj Palace is known to house diplomats, world leaders, and celebrities from around the world on their visits to India. And on this trip, it housed us. The cost of the room is not actually expensive at all, especially when you compare it to US hotels. However, beware if you do stay there because the food is astronomical in price. But of course, it is pretty much the best food that we've ever had in our life. Like consistently, every dish is amazing and just cooked to perfection. So it was worth it. But it was expensive. They also have a really nice spa with actually reasonable prices. We didn't end up getting to do that this time, but next time we plan on it.
And look at this.
Take a bite.
Take a bite of the apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
And though we didn't get to indulge in the spa, the bathtub was certainly a nice consolation. This place is epic. There's, it's just like, seems so fancy. And our room is so nice. The bathroom, as you saw in the walkthrough tour of the room, is astounding. There's a view from the bath that you can like slide the, you can put a slide down so you can't see in the bathroom, or you can leave it open and see through the clear glass straight out to this view out our window. There's also a nice shower, and there was a fully stocked desk with like a stapler and glue and stuff. The refrigerator is stocked, and yeah, there was a bathrobe in the bath, and yeah, and the total cost of this per night is less than $150. So that's like a Marriott or something 100% regular back home, and this is like the nicest hotel I've ever been in. But yeah, later on, we're gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna get some shots of the lobby and maybe the pool and the outside, and I'll check in with you all a little bit later and let you know how we're liking our stay at the Taj Palace in New Delhi, India. Though the amenities were extraordinary, the best thing about the hotel was certainly the service. I've never been somewhere that they just like treat you like royalty as much as they did here. For example, later on in our trip, actually the second day we were there, we went out for the day and we got back around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But while we were out, we left our do not disturb sign on the door. And so when we got back, we had about 5 minutes after returning, a manager from the hotel come up to our room with a service worker, and he rang our doorbell, and I went and answered, and he asked if we were okay. He said they had noticed that our do not disturb sign was on, but later in the day they knocked on the door and we didn't answer, and they were just wondering if we were okay. So then he asked if he could get us anything, and we said no, we're okay, but he brought back some coloring books and crayons anyways for Nesa. It's those little touches that just make you feel important, or at least wanted.
Monkeys. Hey, I saw a monkey eating a banana. Hey, I just saw a monkey eating a banana.
Really?
Yeah.
What Nesa's talking about right there is these monkeys that are just like wild monkeys on the side of the road. It's a pretty common occurrence in India. These ones were eating bananas on the wall on the side of the road. So we're here in New Delhi. We came out of the hotel to go sightseeing and exploring to visit some important locations in the city. Right now we're meeting up with Anila's friend at the metro station, so the metro rail. And then we're gonna go around and see, I think first we're going to the president's house, so that's pretty exciting. And I'll let you know where we're going later. So this is apparently on the other side. This is the president's house that India Gate lines up with. India Gate's in a past video of ours, the Taj Mahal and India Gate video from last time we were in New Delhi about a month ago. And India Gate lines up with this straight line. Like, there's India Gate. Super cool. Because I was talking about that in the India Gate video, but I had never been here. And now, unexpectedly, we're here at the president's house. All right, long security point done, and we're in to the president's estate. That video on the Taj Mahal and India Gate, you can actually find that on our India Summer 2022 playlist, which can be found on the channel, or at the end of this video, it'll pop up on the screen as an option for what to click next. You can click that and watch through those videos. India Gate and Taj Mahal is on there. But for now, we're at the president's estate, so we're gonna look around. I guess I think there's a museum, there's libraries, there's not like a guided tour or anything. I think it's just go at your leisure. But we did have to get tickets well in advance, and we had to go through a long security point. But yeah, let's see what we find here. In the Rashtrapati Bhavan Museum, we ended up going on an unexpected tour. They had a tour guide that was guiding people through the museum, through the 3 floors of the museum. So we ended up learning about everything that was in there, very in-depth information. And what we're starting with here is some of the gifts that have been given to Indian presidents throughout history from world leaders from other countries and from other leaders within India. These diplomatic gifts basically took up an entire level of the museum, and it was really interesting to see what the different leaders from around the world have gifted to India.
Was kept in 25th July 2016. This museum was inaugurated by Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. So this is a heritage building. That's why this museum is built totally underground. So this is in 3 floors. This is ground floor. Then we have upper basement and the lower basement. And all the 3 floors you can find different things. Like on this floor we have a lot of Indian historic events, that how we've struggled for the freedom, how Indian Constitution was drafted, and you can see the people who were involved in the construction work of Rashtrapati Bhavan. Then we have a lot of chariot collections here, more than 100-year-old collection. And then upper basement we have the presidential gifts gifted to the president from different institutions.
To begin the tour, we started by seeing the architectural drawings, nearly 100-year-old imaginations of what Rashtrapati Bhavan would look like. Later on, we ended up in this central room with statues depicting the different cultural movements that led to India's eventual independence in the year 1947. It was very moving, and it was not easy to see, though, because as with basically every independence in world history, this one was bloody as well, getting independence from Britain. Let me take this minute to tell you that if you ever want to visit Rashtrapati Bhavan, you're going to need to book tickets well in advance. I'm talking like a month in advance if you want to actually visit the president's house, and at least a few days to weeks in advance if you want to visit the complex at all. This exhibit ends with the freedom and partition of India, where the British split the subcontinent into India and Pakistan, and then gave them independence.
They were old songs.
Yeah.
They're really, really old songs.
Here are some copies of some of the pages from the Constitution of India, which is apparently the longest written constitution of any sovereign nation in the world. And to top that off, the original version was handwritten. And this that you see here was the bulletproof vehicle that served 5 presidents of India. If you've made it this far in the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up button to let YouTube know that it should serve the video to other people. And also head over to our channel after this video to see some of our other content. And if you enjoy it, consider hitting subscribe for more. These keys that you see here are gifted as sentiments to let the recipient know that they are always welcome in the jurisdiction of the gifter. And this boat that you see now is made entirely of cloves. That's right, the spice. And it was gifted to the first president of India by the then president of Indonesia. And here you can see Nesa being photographed for our own custom stamps that we can legally use that have her picture on them. Though the entire museum was amazing, this next room, this virtual reality room, was really special. It allowed us to join Gandhi on his march.
We'll be walking with them. See? You see yourself? You're in that corner. Let's walk slowly.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ರಪ್ಪ ತಾಣ ನಾನು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಬಾಣ
You know, I had to stop and film this epic piece, I believe, on a sari, which is a piece of clothing. It says, "The world of women, homemaker, destroyer of evil, nation builder, preserver, educator, and earner."
मेरे एक कदम से सारा हिंदुस्तान उथल-पुथल हो जाएगा, said Mahatma Gandhi on the Gandhi beach when he was stopped by the police saying that he will be arrested if he moves even one step forward. You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind. And filled up the prisons all over the country. About a decade ago, they gave a clarion call to the Nation for Non-Cooperation movement for boycotting foreign goods, rejecting foreign education system and refusing foreign titles and honors. He urged the people to refrain from drinking alcohol on moral grounds.
Here you can see an example of NESA's celebrity status in India. Foreign tourists aren't so common, so especially to see one as stunning as NESA, she was stopping everyone in their tracks. They would stop and want pictures with her and want to know her name and where she's from and all about her. So some things that we learned in the museum were that in 1911, when the capital city of India was moved from Karnataka to Delhi, then they constructed the president's house in 1913 is when they started construction. Something interesting is that you see there's no flag on top of the president's house. It means that the president is not in Delhi right now. When he's in Delhi, the flag is up right there. Sorry, correction. Calcutta to Delhi, not Karnataka. Karnataka is a state. Calcutta is a city. One more thing, in the president's house over there, at some place in there, there's a Buddha statue. And at the foot, the height of the foot of the Buddha is equal to the height of the top of India Gate, which lines up to it. We weren't able to go into the actual president's house because of reservation issues, like only a certain amount of people can go in at a time and only on certain days. Also, we didn't get to tour like right around the actual building because it's 300 acres, so that would have taken forever. But we did do those museums. There was another museum on the other side of the road from the one that I showed you guys. It was very interesting. Anyways, now we're headed to Connaught Place, which is like a big outdoor market. We're gonna have some lunch, and then next I think we're going to the Lotus Temple. It's a big Baha'i temple here in New Delhi. Our lunch spot of choice is Subway. The menu is equal parts vegetarian options to non-vegetarian options, as opposed to the US where it's basically one type of veggie patty or just the vegetable fillings, the vegetables themselves. Here there's like 6 different types of like dedicated vegetarian subs. I love Indian Subway so much more. I got a tandoori tofu sub, and Anila got a potato patty sub. Pipa. So Baha'i is a monotheistic faith aimed at unifying the entire world under one cause, one mission, one faith, and one God. But I've spoken with my friend who is Baha'i. He was raised Baha'i, and we talked a lot about how it's basically the same God in every religion that is monotheistic. They just call it a different name. And yeah, this is the Lotus Temple in New Delhi, India. It's gorgeous. And the grounds are really pretty too. It's completely symmetrical, and apparently it is a, what kind of architecture, I think? Scale architecture, or something like that. I'll check in with you in a bit about that. My wife came here, Anila came here when she was in architecture school, and they studied the architecture of it. And I think it was scale architecture, but I'll let you know in a minute. Shell architecture is what it's called, not scale. It's shell architecture. This restaurant at the Taj Palace offered the first vegetarian wonton soup I have ever had the joy of trying in my life. These are their fantastic scallion pancakes, also vegetarian. The tea smelled and tasted like smooth, fresh flowers. Another food difficult to find in its vegetarian form is the hot pot, as seen here. The food was fit for royalty, and with that, you can see here some of the world leaders who have visited the Taj Palace at various times in history. The pictures show their impressive entourages as they would enter the hotel. We, on the other hand, did not enter with an entourage. Maybe one day we will, though we enjoy being free like birds. Thanks for watching. You can see this entire trip to India on the playlist that should be on your screen right now, and we will see you next time.